Hello everyone, I welcome you all to the Concept YouTube channel. So today's topics are, first topic is about the COVID shield, problems specific question can be framed. Second, we will discuss about the difference between mRNA based vaccine and the vaccine developed by Moderna and Pfizer. So we'll try to understand the difference between age-ready 1222 and vaccine developed by Pfizer and Moderna. Next is about the ordinance. We will try to understand about this also. The question can be framed from polity section. We'll try to understand bill and keep regime. This is again a very important topic. It is related with the telecom sector. Then we'll discuss about the GST collection because there is a increase in the collection of GST. So we will discuss this is related with economy section, and in the end I will give you the mains question. So this session is presented by me. My name is Saurabh Pandey. If you are preparing for IS examination, you can join Unacademy. Many of batch courses have been launched and many are about to be launched. So your prelims syllabus coverage, you will be taught by the top educators. Prelims test series also included. PDF study material will be provided. My current affair course is starting from today itself. The class will commence from 1:30 p.m. So in addition to The Hindu, all the sources are covered in this course. Second course is starting from January 5. This course is again presented by me. The class will be at 9:30 p.m. and we will complete paper 2 and then we'll start with paper 1. Agriculture optional is a high scoring optional, and it will also help you to open your opportunity for Indian Forest Service. Also in civil service exam also you can score very high. You have to use this code, that is SPLIVE, to join the general studies courses and optional courses. You have to take the combined combo package of GS and optional for 1 year or 2 years. Use the code SPLIVE. So first topic is expert panel gives the go ahead for COVID shield. So this COVID shield vaccine candidate, and it is being produced by Serum Institute of India, and it has been approved by Subject Expert Committee of Drug Controller Journal of India. So it means it can be used for emergency purpose. Also, Bharat Biotech has been also asked to furnish more data of demonstrating the efficacy of its candidate, because again the impact of these, or the effect of these vaccines, can be only determined through proper data. Second is about this COVID shield. So this COVID shield is similar to the vaccine developed by Oxford University and AstraZeneca. Serum Institute of India is also trying and testing the efficacy of these vaccines, and the trial is carried on many volunteers, studies being made, and many of the data based on the trial in UK and Brazil suggest that the vaccine protected 70%, around 70% of the volunteers. So in further session we will try to understand the vaccine developed by AstraZeneca and the difference with how it differ from vaccine developed by Pfizer and Moderna. Second is about the GST collection. Now you need to understand about the reasons responsible for increase in the GST collection. So you can see the headline: GST collection touch an all-time high in December. So the reasons responsible for high collection of GST are: one point is about the rapid economic recovery. This is the basic point, rapid economic recovery. Second is the steps taken by the government, or we can say the nationwide drive carried out by the government against the GST evaders. They were creating fake bills and trying to carry out trying to evade the GST collection. So this is the case. Second is an ill-conceived, overbroad and vague ordinance. In this article, you need to understand the need of ordinance, which is again related with GS paper 2. polity section. The argument given in this section from here till here are not that much required, but the argument given up till here are again very important in the context of GS paper 2. So we will try to understand it. So once you talk about ordinance, when you talk about ordinance, why we need ordinance? So state government or central government, even the central government under Article 123 and state government under Article 213, president or governor, when they feel that such circumstances prevails that law need to be formulated, and the legislative body, it means in case of central government or in case of parliament, neither Lok Sabha or Raj Sabha in session, and in case of state, we can say neither legislative assembly or legislative council are in session. So under these circumstances, when governor or president in state and center respectively feels that the situation and circumstances exist where law need to be formulated immediately so that the governance can be carried out and certain repercussion can be avoided. Thinking in such a manner, or when such a situation or this prevailing situation satisfy the governor for coming up of ordinance under such situation and circumstances with the necessary for him to take immediate action, he may promulgate ordinances as the circumstances appear to him. So this is again in Article 213 and 123. In case of, as I told you, in case of president, it is under Article 123 of the Constitution, and depending upon the circumstances, the ordinance can be promulgated. As per the Honorable Supreme Court said the situation which prevails, because there is a discretion in the hand of president and governor, and there is and by using this discretion which is in the hand of governor and president, by using this discretion, the ordinance can be prevailed, and depending upon the discretion, the decision can be made about the circumstances or the circumstances which actually has satisfied governor or the president to carry out the ordinance, whether those circumstances are right or wrong, or the existence of the circumstances leading to the satisfaction of the governor or the president are relevant or not. So it can be inquired by the court. So this point is also very important, because in our constitution we follow the principle, what we call it as separation of power. We follow this principle of separation of power. Under this principle, separation of power, legislature, executive and judiciary, they have their respective functions. Judiciary cannot encroach the functions or jurisdiction of executive, and similarly executive cannot encroach the function of legislature. So if judiciary is encroaching the function of legislature or executive, we call it as judicial overreach. We use this word called as judicial overreach. And similarly, if executive is trying to overreach, or we can say trying to take the function of legislature, we can say executive, we can use this term called as executive overreach. Now take the case of ordinance. Ordinance is what? Ordinance is a law. So ordinance is a law, it means it is a function of legislature. But this function of legislature, or we can say this function of legislating any law need to be performed by the legislature and not to be performed by the executive. So if the executive is performing the legislative function, it means executive is entering into the domain of legislature, and we can say executive overreach. So Honorable Court, as a guardian of the Constitution, it is required that this separation of power principle is respected, not only in case of judiciary and executive relation, but also in case of executive and legislature relation. So under this context, if you see, if such circumstances does not exist, which actually requires the ordinance, under such circumstances, if the ordinance is carried out, the Supreme Court need to take steps to make such ordinance null and void. The case of UP, you have this bill called as the preamble of the Uttar Pradesh Prohibition of Unlawful Conversion of Religious Ordinance, commonly called, this is a media coin term, so you have to use this term which is there. So Uttar Pradesh Prohibition of Unlawful Conversion of Religious Ordinance. So in this, it does not highlight the immediate situation which actually decide and determine the need for the ordinance. So is it possible that the honorable court can make it null and void? So this is the case. Second topic, again a very important topic, yesterday we have discussed about it. We have discussed about the IUC. So further discussion, because there is a separate article on it, this is related with the telecom sector. The question can be asked in economy section, infrastructure sector section. So end of the interconnection uses charges regime on January 1. What is interconnection uses charges? As I told you yesterday, take the case of Jio. If you are calling from Jio to Airtel, so certain charges will be paid by Jio to Airtel, around 6 paisa per minute. So because in case of Jio there are so many huge number of outgoing calls, so large amount of money was paid by Jio to different network as interconnection uses charges. Now this has been ended by the TRAI. Now we can say things will change, and there are different regimes which are coming up. One operator, Jio, had a higher proportion, as I told you, it has higher proportion of outgoing calls to other wireless operators since its launch a few years ago, and the charge is around 6 paise per minute since 2017. This new regime, this IUC has been replaced by this arrangement called as bill and keep. This new regime with zero termination rate. Now in bill and keep regime, you have a zero termination rate. Termination rate or termination charge is simply, for example, it is suppose a call is again made, so this is the originating network, and call is made to some other network, so this is a terminating, or we can say the call is made to another network. So certain amount or charge is paid like IUC. So when we have this case of zero termination rate, we are considering it as a part of a regime called as bill and keep. So termination charges was paid to the operator on whose network the call terminated, where the call terminated. So as per the direction of TRAI, bill and keep regime, it will be implemented from January 1st, 2021. There will be many more articles on this regime of bill and keep, then we'll discuss it further. In case of India, if you talk about India, we are trying to upgrade our infrastructure. Take the case of 4G network. Still, many of the users are using 3G networks. Companies are trying to develop 4G networks, but because they don't have that handset which have 4G facility, they don't have that handset which has a 4G facility. Because of this, you can say, because of this particular part or fact, because they don't have 4G handset, they are not able to utilize the company infrastructure related with 4G. As a result, company need to face many of difficulties and losses. Also, many of the telecom companies, they are transforming, they are trying to upgrade their infrastructure. Many of companies are moving towards 5G networks. So by ending IUC and coming up of new regime, company will be able to share their infrastructure, and also they will be able to upgrade their infrastructure as well. Next point is about the economic survey. Economic survey has also highlighted that because of the intense competition, many of private players they eliminated because they were not able to face the competition. Certain bigger giants, they were able to occupy the market, and many of the private players, they were eliminated. So this is kind of a loss for many of private players. Now in case of public, like if you think from public opinion, so if we increases or we take steps to increase public choices, if you are taking steps to increase public choices when public have many options, and there is a competition between different players, and then it will result into increase in the quality of services provided to the public or the customer. So competition is good, but sometimes intense competition result into reduction in the number of private players, because some are able to face the competition and some are not able to face the competition. In case of public sector operators like BSNL, MTNL, they also need to improve their technological capabilities and service level. In India, 4G subscriber has increased from 196.9 million in September 2017 to 517 million out of total wireless subscriber of 1165 to 4.46 million in June 2019. So we can say 4G subscribers are continuously increases. Once we will come with 5G network, the subscribers of 5G will also increase. And the best part, that with the increase in digital penetration, with increase in digital literacy, with increase in digital infrastructure, there will be increase in the contribution of digital economy in our GDP. For example, we are aiming to make our economy 1 trillion. We are aiming $1 trillion. 1 trillion. Now to become economy of $1 trillion, digital economy can play a very important role. Certain policy changes also need to be made. For example, to run any of the telecoms sector, they need a bandwidth. They require a certain bandwidth. We can also call it as spectrum. So the pricing of this spectrum should be more rational. It should not be very high, so that genuine competition can be ensured. If the pricing is very high, some player will be able to buy it, some will not be able to buy it. It will automatically result in the reduction of the many of players. So to develop 5G network and for the distribution of for the distribution of the spectrum, it is required that the policy is rational. Also the pricing is rational, so that many players can participate. This is again a very important part. So next, let's see the next topic. This topic is related with the vaccine. Now take the case of, in this we have to understand the difference between the vaccine created by Pfizer and the vaccine of AstraZeneca. In case of Pfizer, what happens, suppose this is a SARS-CoV-2 virus, and this is what we call it as spike protein. These are the spike protein. These spike protein actually they connect with the receptor called as ACE2, which is present in human cells. And these spike protein, they connect with ACE2 and they infect the human cells. Easily they infect human cells. So in case of mRNA based vaccine, which are being developed by Pfizer and Moderna, what is being done, that these spike protein, genetic information related with these spike protein, which is in the form of mRNA, this mRNA is introduced in human cells or human body, and these mRNA produces these proteins, and these proteins actually helps to, or we can say against these proteins, our body develops antibodies. So this is the basic mechanism being followed in case of Pfizer. In case of AstraZeneca, which is developing AZD1222, in this case of AstraZeneca, it opted a different mechanism, as per which in case of AZD1222 vaccine, adenovirus is used. Weak form adenovirus is being used, and this weak form adenovirus is used. Common cold, this is a common cold virus, and by using this virus, a genetic information related with related with the spike protein is introduced in human cells, and human cells again it produces antibodies. So here you are using mRNA and here you are using adeno, whereas this is the basic difference. But the best part about AZD1222 is that it can be transported and stored at a temperature around 2 to 8 degrees Celsius, which is again helpful for us, because the infrastructure which prevail in India can be used for the distribution purpose of AZD1222. But in case of vaccine produced by Moderna and Pfizer, the infrastructure required for the distribution is much more advanced, because those vaccines can be stored at temperature minus 40 degrees Celsius, at a very low temperature. So we need to first develop a very good infrastructure related vaccine distribution, then only we can use the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine. In case of AZD1222, the storage and transport temperature is quite less, or we can say not less, it's adequate, and our infrastructure which already exists in our country can be used for the distribution purpose. So you need to understand this. In the end, let's see the question. India need to limit various challenges in order to ensure effective vaccine distribution policy. In order to ensure effective vaccine distribution policy, you have to write down in 10 marks. You have to send your answer by 5:30 p.m. to Daily Dose with S.Pandey Telegram channel. Let's see who will be the answer writing champion today. Yesterday and today I will discuss two questions. One will be of yesterday and one will be of today. So don't forget to subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to get the notification of the video, and do like the session. So thank you everyone. Let's crack it.